This conference will now be recorded.
So in the last class, we were talking about automatic payment program. Let us try to execute different scenarios in automatic payment program so that we will understand how we are executing the scenarios and what additional settings we need to maintain in order to achieve the required expectation from the client or from the business. Now, first point, what we will do is we will try to create one vendor. Okay, let me take a new vendor. So what I'll do is I'll create new vendor. I'll go to BP 2004 is the existing BP. Let me double click on this and I'll open vendor role for this business partner, and let me go to change mode in this and create, go to extras, 2004. This is fine. What is reconciliation account? It is local vendor. I'll go back to general data. I think this is slow. So while this gets loaded, let me write scenario number one. Create a vendor and post one invoice and pay it through manual payment. First one, we will create a vendor and then we will post one invoice and we will pay this invoice through manual payment. Let us try to do this activity first. So now what is this group? If I go to vendor general data, ZUL1.
Ajay, there is one more vendor with a 2000, which is local one. You can use that one.
2000.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say new vendor is now available, which is the local vendor, and now we have to create one vendor invoice and then we have to process the payment manually. So what I'll do is, let me run this report first. Open a new window, vendor line item report FBL1N, company code 9000, vendor account is 2000, open item or outstanding as on today. Now it is giving supplier is not there. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, this one is in the different, I think.
Maybe company code data was missing.
So this is not extended as a vendor so far. So what I'll do, I'll go to change mode and I'll take vendor role, not this one. Change without saving, yes. Now I'll go to company code. Let me add this to company code 9000. Reconciliation account. Local vendor. I'm just directly saving this. General data contains error. Now postal code city is missing. Palak Street. This is English. Let me save it now. External supplier number. Let me go to vendor general data. I'll put same 2000 here. Let me save it. Okay, now vendor is extended. Let me run the report. Now when you run the report, you're not supposed to get this message. No account fulfills the selection conditions. Let me press enter. If I try to execute, now you're getting a message, no open item selected, which means vendor is available in your company code, but there are no open transactions as of now. Let me create one vendor invoice. I'll open a new screen. F-43. I will process vendor invoice first with current date. And I'll say invoice number 1, 31 vendor account 2000. First invoice I will process it with 1000. I'm not writing any other information here. This invoice number 1, posting key 40, some expense account. 4 series. Let me take expenses, same amount. And we need cost center. Let me go to more. Open the drop down. Controlling area is also 9000. I'll take any one cost center. Now let me go to document, simulate. Now this is how I am processing a normal invoice document. There is no change in the invoice posting as of now. Let me click on post. Now once invoice is processed, I will go to vendor line item display. Let me run the report now. If I run the report, I am supposed to get 1000 outstanding. Here it is 1000 outstanding. Due date symbol is currently it is due. It is due, which means due on today. I will go back. Let me select the layout which I've created yesterday. This was the layout. I'll execute this report now. Now here if you see, there is nothing called a payment method. Straight away I am able to create this, and amount in local currency is 1000. And I should also see amount in group currency. I'll go to change layout. Make sure whenever you create the layout, the proper layout is created, wherein you are able to see all the information that you wanted to see from a document. In this similar way, you have to set up a layout in every client that you are working for. If you are working for any client, in every client with your user ID, set up the same layout so that you will feel more comfortable, you will feel more confident. You don't have to change, you don't have to open the document and all. In your layout itself, you wanted to see all the information that is required for you to analyze the report or the transaction. Now what I need is amount in group currency also. In short, amount in local currency too. This I will take after local currency. Now local currency too. This local currency too I will take here. And I will also take due date. Document date is there, but I need due date also. Net due date, I'll take it here. And I will also require the posting date. Document date is there, posting date is missing. I'll pick posting date. Posting date. Now all these values are very important whenever you are working on vendor line item reports or customer line item reports. Copy this. Save the layout. And make sure you get this total also enabled. Include the total and save the layout. Okay, now we are able to see transaction like this. Amount is 1000 INR, $12 in the group currency. This is outstanding today. First, what I will do, I am trying to process this manual payment. Now, whenever you are trying to process manual payment, there are two options. Option number one, F-53. Point number one, F-53, where you can process manual payment. If I go to F-53, let's see how system is processing this payment. I'll put F-53 here. House bank, I'll take HDFC. Account ID also HDFC. And GL account that we require is 501. Just 501. HDFC outgoing bank. Please be on mute, those who are not talking. Value date is mandatory. Okay, value date is not permitted. I'll remove this. Amount, I will take 1000. Enter. Vendor account is 2000. As there is only one invoice currently outstanding, I am selecting this invoice and I'll go to document. Let me click on simulate. And it is giving you the document bank outgoing account on the credit side, vendor account on the debit side. If I look at document simulate general ledger, same entry is coming with profit center, which means your passive document splitting is also working fine. Come back one level and simulate, and I'll try to post this payment. Now this manual payment using F-53 is processed without any error. This is processed without any error. Next thing what I'll do is I will create one more invoice. Okay, if I refresh this report now, it should be empty. Because that invoice is cleared, there is nothing outstanding. Let me process one more invoice. With the same date, I'll put invoice number 2, same vendor. I will take 2000 as amount this time. I'll put invoice number 2, expense account, same amount, invoice number 2, more, cost center. Straight away I am posting now because we know how we are processing the invoice. There is nothing new in this. Okay, document is now created. If I run my vendor line item report, you are supposed to get 2000 outstanding now. Now you are able to see 2000 is outstanding. Let me try to process this payment using F-58 transaction code, another T code for processing manual payment. Now, currently what we did F-53, it's only a manual payment. Now I will open one more window. Here I will open F-58. In F-58, you can see a small difference here. This is your post outgoing payment. F-58 is your F-58 is your payment with printout header data. One is directly post outgoing payment. Second one is payment with printout data. Now, in general, in real time, if you are processing any manual payment, we normally prefer F-58. Now, if I come to F-58, system is asking some information here. One is your company code. I'll put company code 9000. Second one it is asking is payment method. Now you can use payment method only if you configure automatic payment program or APP. If you have not configured APP or automatic payment program, this screen F-58 cannot be used because F-58 payment method is mandatory. Let us assume that yesterday we processed or we created or we assigned a payment method called C for our company code 9000. Let me select payment method. The moment I choose the drop down here, system is going to pull some payment method. Now it is pulling all the payment methods. It is not generating payment method for your company code because it is generating payment method from country level. We all understood yesterday payment method is assigned at two level. Payment method is assigned to your country. Payment method is also assigned to your company code. Here payment method is not coming from the company code, it is coming from the country. Make sure you will select your country, which is India. Scroll down to India. This is your India. In India, we were using payment method C, which is your check. Double click on check. Payment method C, or you can directly input that single digit payment method identification. Next one, house bank account ID. Let me open the house bank, HDFC, and let me open account ID. This account ID is available. Let me pick this account ID. Next one it is asking is check lot number. Currently I am not going to provide any check lot number. It is asking printer for form. Wherever system is asking for a printer, blindly you put LP01 in capital letters. This is your dummy printer in SAP. Wherever system is asking for printer, blindly put LP01. Now I'll click on enter payments now. This is one time activity. Let me press enter payment. If I press enter payment, it is asking specify check lot. It is asking specify check lot because what we have selected was payment method C. According to payment method C, it is a check payment. For check payment, system has to generate a check number. In order to generate a check number, system expects a check lot number. Now, whenever a company is processing payments by check, company will get the check stock from the bank. When we talk about check stock, In general, when we do our personal banking, you get checkbook. You get checkbook with 20 checks or 30 checks. But when a company is getting the checks from the bank, they will be getting maybe 1000 checks, 500 checks, or 200 checks. Likewise, they will get the check stock. Point number one, company can get these checks printed by outside, or company can get these checks directly from the bank. Both are possible. Sometimes bank will give you the format, and bank says that you can get this printed, you can get the checks printed in the same format, but please use this naming convention or this number. Some companies will get the checks printed by the outside according to the specifications provided by bank. In some companies or in some countries, banks only will provide the check stock. Now that check lot you have to maintain here. Now what I'll do, in order to complete this payment, check lot number is mandatory, because you are talking about payment with printout. If your payment is with printout, for check you have to maintain check lot number. Without check payment cannot be processed. So what I'll do is, let us try to create a check lot. To create a check lot, you have another screen, /n, go to FCHI transaction code. In FCHI transaction code, you can create a check lot. So here give your paying company code. Now from here onwards, you will be seeing your company code is not represented by company code. Your company code is represented by paying company code. So far we were seeing only a term called company code, but now you are able to see a different term called paying company code. This paying company code or sending a company code, wherever you are getting, these are represented by your automatic payment program functionality. So paying company code is 9000. House bank, in which bank you want to create check lot? We were talking about HDFC bank. Let me select HDFC bank here, and account ID. In HDFC, for which account number you want to manage check lot? This account number let me select and press enter. Make sure company code, account number, account ID is correct. After that, click on this icon, change. You will not find create icon, you will have to click on change icon. When you click on change, you will get a screen like this. On this screen, you have to click on this create symbol. Click on create here. Now lot number, you can use any number, but it is always recommended you use a fixed digits, either 3 digit or 4 digits or 5 digits. Now let's say I will take 3 digits. So what I'll take 001. Normally zeros are not recommended. I will select 101. Okay. Now second one is your check number. This is your from number. This is the to number. Whatever the check lot, check bundle that we received from the bank, your user is going to tell you. Now this check lot is normally created by the end user only. This is part of your open client activity, or this is part of your cutover activity. During your implementation project, these check lots are created by the implementation consultant as part of the open client or cutover activity. In some clients, the clients say that no, we do not want our users to create the check lot. To avoid any kind of problems or issues, we want the support team or consultant to create this. So in such case, you will be receiving a support ticket for creating a check lot. You will receive an email, dear FICO consultant, please create a new check lot for the check numbers or for the below check series. They may say that check series. Now when you're talking about check number, always remember in which country you are currently working. In your country, what is the check number series? Normally these are all as per the central banks or the main bank or the reserve bank of that particular country will define the instructions. According to that, you will have to define the check numbers. No surprise, tomorrow you may get a question. What is the check lot number that you created? How many digits are there in your check number? So you should not fumble there. You have to answer on the spot. right? Whether it is 4 digit, 5 digit, 6 digit, whatever it is, they only check whether you are confidently answering or not. Let's say I am going to take some 5 digit check number. So what I'll do, I will take 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 until 99. I am going to create 99 checks. I will put this. Next lot number I am not going to take. Payment method list I am not going to use currently. Short info I can just put HDFC current account lot 101. Purchase date, if you wanted to put on what date you received this check or from what date these checks are applicable, you can put the date. Otherwise you can ignore it. Even in the real time, only these 4 columns you will be updating. Next lot number, non-sequential, payment method list, purchase date, we don't update even in the real environment. You will find a lot of fields on every screen. Do not get confused why we are not using all the screens, because some functionalities are limited only to specific countries. Now those functionalities are enabled only in the respective country. Otherwise, when you talk about standard SAP, this is how you will do it. Click on save. Check lot is created. Now let me click on save. Okay, check numbers have been saved. Now I will go back. When I go back, if I go back to the payment screen, F-58, where we were trying to process the payment, it was asking check lot number mandatory. Now I'll go to the column where check lot number is there. Let me open the drop down. If I open the drop down, I am able to get this screen now. It is providing a company code, house bank, account ID, lot is 101, number status is currently blank. Okay, number status blank, which means no check is used currently in this. I'll select this check lot number 1. Let me press enter. If I press enter, now I'm able to input my payment related information here. But here if you see, system is not giving you GL account here. Here system is not giving you GL account because GL account is taken by system automatically. Here system will take GL account automatically. So what I will do, I'll put this reference F-58. Here also F-58, F-58. Amount is 2000. Since there is no option to input GL account, I'm not giving any GL account here. F-58. Supplier is 2000. I'll press enter. Okay. Now sometimes this is also a problem even in the real environment. When I say this is also a problem, after giving this vendor icon, vendor number, if I press enter, system is giving select a valid function. Now for this also you will get some support ticket in some situations. Now this is nothing to do with it. You just need to go click on process open item. System is not able to take cursor at this position. That is the reason that error is coming. When you get this error, do not get confused why the error is coming. Try to click on this icon, process open item. If you click on process open item, that error will disappear. For every error, do not straight away think why the error is coming. First see if the process is followed properly or not. You are pressing enter, but ideally we are supposed to click on process open item. Users also will do the same mistake. They will also press enter. They say sometimes it is going, sometimes it is not going. Because you are supposed to click on process open item, make sure you inform the user to click on process open item. Here there is only one open invoice for 2000, that is selected, entered, and amount assigned is matching. Let me go to document. I'll click on simulate. If I click on simulate, system is taking this GL account automatically. 200 501 is taking automatically. Now if I go to document, simulate general ledger, this one is coming. Profit center is coming automatically, which means entry is getting processed without any issues. Let me go here. Now, if you see a message at the bottom, you are getting a message, automatically created line items will be deleted. When system is giving this, automatically created line items will be deleted. If you see this, there is only one line item. Bank line item is coming, vendor line item disappeared, because when processing the transaction, we have given only bank line item. Vendor line item is coming automatically based on your open item selection. So that was your automatically created or automatically generated line item. To get that vendor account again, you don't have to process open item and all. Straight away go to document, click on simulate. It will bring your vendor line item once again. Okay. Now click on post. Let's see what will happen when we click on post on this screen. You are getting an information message which is giving document number 15 all zeros 1 was posted. Fine, I'll continue this. Next one, it is giving specification of form missing in payment method C for company code 9000. It is telling specification of a form missing in payment method C for company code 9000. This is to generate payment advice. Yesterday we discussed for any supplier payment, for any vendor payment, supporting documentation is mandatory. For vendor payment, your supporting documentation is nothing but payment advice. When you process a payment using F-53, only payment is processed, payment advice is not generated. In order to get payment advice, you have to process the payment using F-58. In F-58, you are assigning company code, house bank, account ID, payment method. At payment method level and at company code level, you are assigning different forms. As part of your automatic payment program configuration, from APP configuration, whatever the payment advice form that is assigned, from that form, system is going to generate a payment advice automatically. Since that configuration is incomplete, it is not able to generate any form as of now. Just ignore this. Click on exit. Now payment document has been processed. Let us go to vendor line item now. If I go to vendor line item, if I refresh the report, this 2000 outstanding should disappear from this list. I'll go to list, refresh. This amount disappeared because it got cleared. Now I will go to cleared item. If I go to execute, there are two payment documents here. For the first payment document, we processed F-53. First one with F-53, where there is no payment method here. At the invoice level, there is no payment method. At payment level also, there is no payment method. Whereas for the second one, you have payment method updated for payment document, because while processing the payment, you have manually given payment method C. That is the reason system has updated payment method C for it, but for invoice, it is not updated. This is one point. Now these two documents are cleared. Now, when you are talking about payment method C, you are representing check payment. Payment method C is represented by check payment. Now, when you are processing a check payment, the expectation is system is going to process the payment document. At the same time, system is going to assign a check number from the check lot. We created a check lot from number to number. From this check lot, the first number or the next available number will be assigned to this payment document as check number. Okay, let me open this document. If I select this payment document, let me display the payment document here. Display document. Now here you can see this is the clearing document, but there is no check number anywhere. You are not able to see any check number here. Now to see the check number, now tomorrow you have to understand, or even when you are discussing with your client, you will be questioned, how do I know the check number that is issued for this particular payment? In short, they might say that this is the invoice number. I want to know for this particular invoice number, what is the payment document that is generated and what is the check that was issued. Now, how do you get this information? We have to understand, because tomorrow we are the ones who is going to provide all this information to the client or to the user. Before we do that to the user, we have to first understand how the system is working and how we are understanding the process. So what I'll do, I will come back, because on this document level, we are not able to see any check number anywhere. For that, what I will do, I'll go to SAP screen. Those who are not talking, please be on mute. Now, I'll go to another screen. Here, let me open the check register. There is one more transaction to generate the check register. To see the check register, it is FCHN. If I go to check register FCHN, system is giving you the screen for check register. This is again regular transaction code, regular report, which is used by client on a daily basis. I will give the company code 9000. House bank account ID, if you want, you can put. If you don't give, it will give you all the checks generated for this particular company code. Since there is only one house bank as of now, I'm not giving it. Or let me give this house bank also. From HDFC Bank, I want to see the checks that are processed. And you can run the report without giving any specifications, so that all the checks that are issued from this bank will be displayed. Let me click on display. Or if you wanted to find out check number for a particular payment, you can pass the payment document here. You have general selection. In general selection, there is no payment document number, but you have another tab here, which is further selection. If you go to further selection, in the further selection tab, you have payment document number. Here you need to pass your payment document number. This is the payment document number 3 times 01. Copy this payment document number and come back to this check register. Put the payment document here. Now click on execute. If you click on execute, this is not giving any information. This is not giving any information. What I'll do, let me remove this payment document. I'll go to general selection. Let me click on execute. This is not giving any information. Now we need to understand why system did not generate any check. In the check register, you are not able to see any check. Next one, what we need to do is, we have to go to the check lot and then see if there is any check currently processed. Go to check lot. We created check lot using FCHI transaction. Let me open the same transaction once again. FCHI, check lot, press enter, click on change mode or display mode. If you see here, there is nothing in the number status. If you see this, there is nothing in the number status, which means no check is currently issued from this check lot. No check is currently issued from this check lot. Now we have understood how check lot is created, and you have processed the invoice, you have processed the payment, but still check number was not allocated. This is one point. Second point, what I'll do now is, I will create one more invoice. At the time of invoice creation, let me try to assign payment method now. What I'll do, I'll go to invoice creation once again. Now again and again repeatedly we have to create invoices in order to perform the testing. So in short, what we have to do, even when you're in the project, you're not supposed to do the data entry every time. All you need is you have to understand what is the scenario that you're trying to execute. To
Sir,
run your
please.
scenario, who is it? Okay. Even when you're in any project during your testing, you have to do these activities repeatedly n number of times. Because config you are going to do one time, testing you are going to do several times with different scenarios. To run every scenario, you need one invoice document. Every time you cannot do data entry. So what you will be doing? You will be doing post with reference. Click on this post with reference, or directly you can access FBR2 transaction code. From here, if you click on post with reference, here input the invoice document number. I'll go to vendor line item report. Any one invoice number I will take. For example, I'll take invoice number 19 all zeros 3 is here. I'll copy from this document number, KR document. I'll put this here. This is the existing invoice document number from this company code, this fiscal year. You do not have to select any checkboxes here. We don't do it. Straight away click on enter. Press enter on the keyboard or click on enter. What system will do? It will copy all the information from your reference document. If you want to change the date and all, you can change it. I will simply change reference to 3. Invoice number 3. Enter. Same amount. I don't want to change amount also. I'll straight away click on post. But before posting, what I wanted to do is I wanted to assign payment method in the invoice transaction. Double click on vendor line item. In vendor line item, you will find payment method option here. In this payment method, we are talking about check payment, or check payment method we are currently working on. Input payment method C here. When I input payment method C, let me click on save here, post. Now invoice document number 19 all zeros 4 is created. Let me come to vendor line item report now. In vendor line item report, I will come back one level. I'll go to open items. Let me click on execute. When I click on open items from the vendor line item, I am able to see payment method C here. Now I am able to see payment method C. Let me try to process payment for this particular invoice using F-58 once again. Now I'll go to F-58 once again, /n F-58. In this screen, same thing. I'll put F-58 invoice number 3. F-58 amount is 2000. F-58 supplier is 2000. I'll click on process open item. Saying value date is not permitted. I'll remove this. Enter. Okay, invoice is selected automatically. Let me go to document, simulate. I will try to post directly. Let's see what is going to happen now. Payment document number 15 all zeros 2 is generated. Click on continue. Now you are getting a message, check numbers currently blocked by Ajay. Now this is because I am inside the check lot. This is because I am inside the check lot. Now this is also a support ticket you can mention. Some user had opened the check lot and the user is trying to process the payment document. User is getting a message, check numbers are currently blocked by this. Now what I will do, I will come out from this screen currently. Let me go to checkout screen and let us come back from the checkout screen. Okay, after this, come back to this screen again. Data blocked. Check numbers currently blocked by user Ajay. Repeat attempt to print. If you wanted to try again to print the check, or you wanted to ignore the check printing. You don't want to ignore the check printing. You wanted to redo the check processing again. For that, click on yes. If you click on yes, you are getting a message again. Specification of a form missing in payment method C for company code 9000. For this, just open the question mark now. If you open the question mark, you will get the detailed information related to that particular error. Specification of a form missing. Yesterday we saw while creating the APP config, there are different forms that were appearing. Now a payment medium form was not specified for payment method C in company code 9000. Termination of the payment medium program. Enter a suitable form for payment method C in company code 9000 in the payment program configuration, which means in APP system is telling maintain the appropriate form to generate the check. I'll click on OK. This was the error message that we were getting. I'll click on exit. Now let me verify once again. So how I am going to verify if it is working fine or not? I have to verify by executing a check register. I'll click on execute on the check register. Nothing is coming. Now this is again part of your unit testing. This is again part of your test script, because no client will just like that process the payment document. Your payment document is processed either with a check or with a bank transfer. If it is with a bank transfer, you have to generate payment medium file. If it is with a check, you have to generate the check. Make sure check number is updated here. Payment document is processed, but check number is not updated, which means there is a problem. Problem is in your automatic payment program configuration. Now how you have to understand every point? While doing the testing, you need to ensure what is the actual scenario, and to run the scenario, what points we have to remember, and what is the sequence that you have to follow. In this process, you have to make sure payment document is created. At the same time, check number is also generated. Immediately after posting the document, you have to run this report. Even when you are doing the unit testing or UAT with your client or user, make sure in this sequential order you are going to do it. Process the payment document, show them the payment advice, and explain them where payment advice document will get generated, how do they view it, and how do they print it. Similarly, where they will see the check and how do they view the check, how they have to print the check. And check register, you have to show this is the check number allotted for this payment document. Currently it is not updated because of some missing configuration. Now let us go back to automatic payment program configuration screen. Now we understood how manual payment is processed. Now we will execute automatic payment program only after seeing check number generation from the manual payment. In short, payment with printout manually F-58. Let's go to app config now. Why we are going to app config? We are going to app config to fix the problem related to check printout error that you were getting while processing payment with F-58. I'll go back to app config. App configuration is part of FBZP. Go to FBZP. In FBZP, it was talking about form. Now, first thing what I'll do is I'll go to payment method in country or region. India, our company code is in India. In India, we were talking about payment method C, which is your check. Double click on this check. Come down. If you come down, you have some forms here. You are able to see a form called Payment Medium Program RFFO US_C. This is a standard. A form is already assigned here. I will come back. Okay. Now this is form at payment method. When you remember the error, it was talking about form is missing for company code 9000. In short, system is looking for a form at company code level. In short, payment method at company code level, system is expecting a form for which payment method in company code. Open this setting. In this setting, go to our company code, which is 9000. Double click on payment method which we are trying to process. Payment method C. Double click on this. If you double click on this, you have form data here. If you open the form data, currently there is no form here. If you open the form data, there is no form here. The error is correct because there is no form here. System is not able to understand which form it has to generate or which form it has to prepare or print out. Open the drop down here. Let's see what information we are getting. I'll open international here. When I open international, this is what you are getting. You have forms like payment advice. You have check with check management, check without check management. Let me open check with check management. If I open check with check management, you are getting a form name as F110 underscore pre number, which means PRENUM underscore CHCK. This form has got generated. Let me put this form. I will save the setting. Enter. What we did, we assigned a standard form. Now let me try to process the same payment document once again. Now even when you are testing in the real environment, you are not supposed to fix the problem for the existing document. Don't try to fix it, because whatever the activity that you are doing is a testing. You consumed a test case, you have to redo it. To do the activity once again, make sure you have another invoice available. Don't have so many invoices open unless you are clear, unless you are confident about what you are doing. If you are not sure, if you are not confident, whenever you open, make sure nothing is open. Post only one vendor invoice so that what is outstanding, what you are doing, you can easily identify. Once you are clear, once you get the logic, you are comfortable, you can do whatever the way you want. But unless and until you are confident, you are comfortable, go at a slower pace, try to understand logic by logic, scenario by scenario. Now to do the invoice posting again, what I'll do, I'll again do the invoice posting. What I'll do, I'll go to FBR2 now. If I go to FBR2, this is post document. In short, this is nothing but post with reference. Give the reference document. I am giving one reference document number of any one existing invoice document number. Press enter. System is copying all the information from the document number that you have given. Now, if you notice here, only one point. On the first screen, 3 points cannot be edited. Company code cannot be changed. Currency cannot be changed. Posting key cannot be changed. Vendor account you can change, but these 3 parameters you cannot edit. Press enter. Okay, 2000. Press enter. Now I am going to put payment method C here. Let me click on post. Now to run this scenario, all you need is one outstanding in vendor outstanding report. All we need to run our scenario is to see one outstanding in the vendor line item report. Go to vendor line item report, execute once again. If you execute once again, you can see another invoice for 2000 here. You can see one more invoice for 2000. All you need is this outstanding amount in the vendor line item report. That's it. To get this, you don't have to do data entry. Just copy an existing document, bring this. Because your testing begins only when you have outstanding amount in the vendor account. Okay. Now, let me do this payment processing once again. So what I'll do, I will go to F-58 once again. /n F-58. Same information, invoice number 4, amount 2000, value date is not applicable for this GL account. This is not applicable because of the field status group assigned to the GL account of your bank outgoing account. After this, click on process open item. You will find one outstanding invoice for 2000. Select this and directly click on simulate and then post. Once you test it 2-3 times, you will understand how entries are being processed. You do not even have to do the simulation. You can straight away click on post. Right? So slowly you have to see the improvement in your testing also, because you are going to perform the same activity multiple times. Every time don't do the same activity, try to improve yourself. When I say improve, first time you are posting everything, but second time see if you can reduce the time. Same things you have to propose, same things you have to inform to your client, so that they will feel happy. Okay, now I understood the shortcuts to process the transaction. Earlier I was spending 1 minute, now within half a minute I'm able to process the transaction. So they will see they are able to process the entries at shorter time and their productivity is increasing. You have to give all these improvements also to your client and to the users. Enter. When I press enter now, this time system is not giving any error message that it was giving before. It is giving overview of the list generated, check, and it is telling dataset list 1s spool number 26854. Okay, it is giving you the spool number 26854. Okay, just go back. Now what I will do, I will go to check register. In the check register, let me run the report now. If I run the check register, system has updated the check number. Which check number system had updated? The first check number from the check lot that we have created. 1 3 times 01. This is your payment document. Payment date, currency is INR, amount paid is 2000. The recipient, the supplier name is Palak Stores, Bangalore. And the other information. If you want any specific information here, you can always modify this layout. You will find different other information. Whatever the information you want to see from the check register, you can prepare a layout. And this check register is generated on a daily basis. When I say this is generated on a daily basis, every day you want to submit a report to your manager or to treasury team that today these many checks are issued. For that, you have to generate this check register. When I say you have to generate, your users client will have to generate. Now when you're talking about business process, all these activities we have to understand, we have to remember in the sequential order. Now I will come back. Now for the payment document, we are able to see the check number. Now let me display the payment document here. If I go to, where is it? Let me go to document and then display. This is the payment document which is generated. If I double click on this, currently on the bank line item there is no check number, and overall at the document level there is no check number. Now by looking at this payment document number, if I want to know that I want to see the check number which is generated for it, how do we get the check number? Because at the time of processing the payment, you do not know what will be the check number. I also do not know what will be the check number, because system is going to allot the check number based on the next available check number at the time of posting the transaction. Now transaction is completed, I wanted to know the check number for it. For that you have one more screen, or you have another screen wherein if you go to FCHU. Okay, if you go to FCHU, this is your create reference for check from payment document. So give your company code 9000 and house bank you provide HDFC Bank, account ID you provide this one, and where do you want to update the check number, whether you want to update the check number in reference column or you want to update it in assignment column or in the reference 3 column. Normally check number is always updated in assignment column. Why you have to update check number in the assignment column? Now before we update this, if I go to the payment document, now we are talking about payment. In the payment, we were talking about check payment. For the check payment, we understood that the check is issued to a vendor. We need to understand what is the check number that is given to the vendor. Now, check number 10001 was issued to the vendor. By looking at the payment document, how do I know that this document is related to check number this? Tomorrow, once you process the payment, you are supposed to perform bank reconciliation. Tomorrow you are supposed to perform bank reconciliation. In order to perform bank reconciliation, for check payment, check number will be the key for BRS. For check payment, check number will be the key for BRS. When we talk about check number is the key for BRS, your bank reconciliation statement or bank statement, whatever you receive from the bank, will give you the check number. 10001 check is submitted for payment is cleared from your bank account for 2000. By looking at that bank statement, you are going to identify check number 10001 is cleared from my bank. I need to clear this check related document from outgoing account to main account. So in short, you have to move the amount from sub account, outgoing account to main account. In order to perform this BRS activity, your check number will become the key aspect. Now, how you are going to identify the check number? When you process the check document, system is not updating check number anywhere. Now, you cannot ask user to update check number for each and every document. So for that, you have this function FCHU. In this FCHU, what I am currently selecting, I am selecting a company code, house bank, account ID, and I am selecting assignment. Let me try to click on execute. Let's see what will happen with this. Okay, it is giving you the information allocation numbers with check number. It is giving you company code. This is the payment document, fiscal year, house bank, account ID, payment method, check number. Now, if you look at this payment document, if I double click on bank line item, currently in the assignment column, it is 20231128. I'll come back. Okay, now I will display the document once again. Now, if I double click on bank line item, you can see the assignment is updated to check number. You see now the assignment is updated to check number. Now, this is one more support ticket you can mention in your projects. When somebody says that the tickets, you can mention this. User had processed a payment document, or user is performing the bank reconciliation statement, but during BRS they identified check number is not updated in the assignment column or check number is not updated in the payment document. As a result, system is not able to perform the BRS or bank reconciliation is not happening. The reason is payment document is not updated with the check number. Now, how do you update the check number? Point number one, you can update the check number manually. For each and every document, go to change document FB02, double click on bank line item, go put the check number manually here. This is practically not possible because you may be having 100 documents, you may be having 1000 documents. No user will do it. and you also cannot do it manually or through any upload or any BDC. That is not recommended because you have ready-made solution. By using FCHU, you can update the check number either of these three columns, either in the reference or in the assignment or in the reference 3 column. Right? This is how system is going to update the check number in the payment document. Now, if I go to vendor line item report now, if I go to vendor line item report, this outstanding should disappear. Let me go to list, refresh, but before that, invoice number is 19 all zeros 5. I'll click on refresh, enter. Now, if I go to clear the document, execute, invoice number 19 all zeros 5. For 19 all zeros 5, payment document number will be this 15 all zeros 3. If I double click on this payment document number, or if I open this invoice first, let me open the invoice. If you open the invoice, if invoice is already cleared or if the invoice is already paid, you will find in the vendor line item in the document. I am currently on the vendor line item. You can see vendor account here. In vendor line item, you can see clearing date and clearing document number. If invoice is cleared or if invoice is paid, this information will be automatically updated. To see the payment document, you just need to double click on this line item. This is called as a drill down functionality. If you double click on 15 all zeros 3, it will display this document automatically. Let me double click on 15 all zeros 3 here. I'll double click on 15 all zeros 3. When I double click on 15 all zeros 3, system is automatically displaying the payment document here. Again, here also you can set up a layout. Whatever the information that you want to see, you can set up a layout. Your client, your user also will ask the same thing. Every time to see the assignment, to see the check number, I have to double click on this. Okay, so you don't have to double click on this to see this information every time. Just come back. You will find layout here also. Click on this layout. You will find a small dot icon here. If you click on this small dot icon, you will get a pop-up. From this pop-up, same activity, go to change layout. I want to add clearing document. Okay, let's say I want to add clearing document. Now I want to do sum for this amount also, and assignment also I want to add. Assignment also I want to add, and then I'll click on save. When I click on save, it is asking for an information. Just put the layout name. I am saving with my name. I'll put it as user specific. Click on continue. Okay. When you do it, it is displaying assignment and clearing document automatically. Check number is updated against bank line item. Clearing document is updated against vendor line item. Because your vendor account has got nothing to do with bank reconciliation, that is why check number is not updated for vendor line item. Check number is related to bank, that is why it is updated only for the bank related line item here. This is all about manual payment. Either you process it with F-53 or you process it with F-58. First, this process we have to understand. Once we are clear with this process, when you perform the automatic payment program, same activity is going to take place. When you perform the automatic payment program, same activity is going to take place. Now, only this part is automated in APP. Here what I did, I processed a payment, I am able to generate a check. These two things are happening manually. Now, we have to see one more point, that the check number. Right, system was telling there is a spool generated. Now, any printout or any form that is generated by the system, okay, anything that is generated by the system in the background, it will be generated as a spool. It will be generated as a spool. To see the spool, you have to use transaction code either SP01 or SP02. Let me open SP01 transaction code here. If I put SP01, it is asking me to give this pool number. I have not taken this pool number from there. I'll ignore it. Now it is asking created by. Payment document is processed by me. So I'll put my user ID here. I have processed the payment document today. I am giving created on today. I'll click on execute. If there is any spool which is generated today, that will be displayed here. You are able to see one point here. Now if I select this and if I click on this type, you are able to see SAP script here. Now why this is showing as a script? If you go back to the config, in the configuration before the form it was a script. Okay, so in the program, if you make that as a PDF, you will get a PDF here. Type will be a PDF. Now to display this check, just click on this type. You can see the check like this. This is how system is giving you a check. If I come down, this is the format. This is the format of the check. Normally, this is the standard SAP format of generating a check. Now for every check, as we discussed, you have to get the check format designed by the ABAP consultant or the technical consultant. In order to get the check copy designed by the technical consultant, first you need to get the physical copy of the check from the client. When I say you need to get physical copy of the check from the client, your client is going to give you the check copy. This is our check copy. By looking at that check copy, you are going to take that check dimension. What is the height of the check? What is the width of the check? And at what position the content is beginning. Accordingly, the technical consultant is going to design a check form, and that form he will be assigning inside the program or inside the form that we are assigning in our automatic payment program config. Okay, based on that, system is going to generate your check copy in place of this. Currently this is coming. This form will be replaced by the actual check copy in the backend programming by the ABAP consultant. For this to happen, you need to write a functional specification document. You need to write a functional specification document. Accordingly, check copy will be prepared. Now again, you are going to test several times until the check copy is generated properly. Point number one. Point number two, check copy is printed correctly on the check leaf or on the check copy, physical copy of the check. First point, I will make sure the information is coming fine on the form. Once the information is updated properly, second point, what we will do is you are going to print that check. You will put the actual check in the printer. In short, the cancelled check. When I say cancelled check, you will write as cancelled or you will put a stamp called cancelled. That cancelled check leaf will be given or will be placed in the printer. You will click on print from here. When you click on print, your system is supposed to generate this information on the physical check copy placed on the printer. If everything is updated properly, then your check functionality is working fine. Sometimes, not sometimes, most of the times what will happen, you will find alignment problems. When I say alignment problem, text may be coming a little left side, little up, little down, slight changes will be there. These changes will be handled by the technical consultant. Once everything is handled, you will provide the check copy to the user and you will ask the user also to generate a check. What they will do as part of a testing, they will generate a payment document, system will generate a check document. They will select the check document like this. They'll click on print. When they click on print, they will place the check leaf on the printer. So they will make sure that the check is printed with the correct details. Once it is coming, your payment processing for check is processed or is completed successfully. Now this is all happening with manual intervention. When you are talking about automatic payment program, same things are going to happen, nothing new there. It is just that system is going to process the payment document automatically. When you're talking about manually you are going to process the payment for whatever the invoice document that you require. However the way that you want, you are going to process the payment. When it comes to automatic payment, everything is taken care by the system. Now there you have to first understand how we are processing the payments manually and what scenarios you are going to have. Same scenarios you are going to test it through automatic payment program. Nothing new in APP. Whatever you do manually, same manual activity will be performed in automatic payment program. Do not think that APP will do some magic. No magic will happen in APP. Whatever is happening in your manual activity is automated in APP. First, you have to understand manual payment process, manual payment scenarios. Same scenarios you are going to include, you are going to incorporate in your APP functionality. That is it. Now here what we did currently is we processed a single payment. We processed a single payment. Second one, now there are different things. You have partial payment, you have down payment. We have already seen how partial payment is made, how residual payment is made, how down payment is made, how on account payment is made, right? Now all these scenarios how we are going to handle in automatic payment program. For example, I have an invoice, I have a down payment. What will be the net amount? How system will process the payment for the net amount? On the other side, if you have the invoice, you have the credit memo, will system process the payment for the balance amount, invoice amount less credit memo amount? For the balance net amount, system is supposed to process the payment. If you are doing it manually, you are going to select invoice, credit memo. You will ensure payment is initiated only for the balance amount. If system is carrying out these activities automatically, how system is going to take care of this? So you have to test all these scenarios. It is not that you are executing automatic payment program, you are not getting any error, everything is green, payment document is generated, spool is generated. We should not think that we are doing correctly or our understanding is correct. Our understanding of execution part alone is correct. But you have to see it from the scenario perspective. What scenarios are there? How am I going to handle this scenario? First, you need to test APP several times with each scenario, and then you have to run APP one go with multiple scenarios like one advance payment, one invoice, multiple invoices, and invoice with credit memo, partial payment, different scenarios you have to handle with APP, so that when you're getting errors in automatic payment program, it will be easier for us to understand what we're trying to achieve and what error we are getting, how do we resolve the error. Okay, so what I want you to do for today is I want you to practice this payment scenario which we've created now. Create a vendor, create an invoice, create the manual payment with F-53, right? Payment with F-53, payment with F-58, check lots FCHI, and then check register FCHN, update form for check in FBZP, update what is it, check number in payment document FCHU, and then display payment document, and you have to remember that check form is a smart form development part of RISE-FW, FS to be prepared. Next one, understand vendor line item report changes before and after payment. Before payment, what is your vendor line item report? And after the payment, what is your vendor line item report? What changes are happening? You have to see open item, cleared item. How do you connect this invoice is related to this payment, and this payment is related to this particular invoice, and this is the check number. How do you relate all this information connectingly? You have to understand by looking at vendor line item report. Next one, and tables related to check payment. This we will see in the next session. Okay, but so far whatever we did, I want you to practice and I want you to remember these points. Next one, process to be followed in the project to test in UT and UAT. It's not like straight away you will test it. It's not that way. Even for your testing, there will be a process, there will be a procedure. How you are going to test it? You are going to take an existing vendor or you are going to take a new vendor. If you take a new vendor, you will create an invoice. How you are creating the invoice? All this information you need to understand in the sequential order. Tomorrow, assume if somebody is asking you to test it in your project only. How you are going to test it? We should not ask how should I test it, what amount I should post, what date I should take, which vendor I have to take. You're not supposed to ask these silly questions. When somebody is asking you to test, you have to immediately understand, okay, they are asking me to test this check. Why they are asking you to test? Maybe they would have created a new bank. Maybe there is a new house bank created, or there is a change in the check format, or there is a change in the program. They want you to test if everything is working fine or not. For which, what you are going to do, you are going to make sure that you will create a vendor or you will take an existing vendor. Point here is your understanding of the requirement or the scenario. Once you understand the requirement, once you understand the scenario, the remaining points you will automatically understand. Everything will fall in line automatically if you are clear with the requirement. If you are not clear with the requirement, everything will be a problem. All question marks will be lined up. I have to test it. In which system should I test? Development or quality? Now, first you need to understand when somebody is asking you to test, whether they are asking you to test because there is a problem in production system, or they are asking you to test because they made some corrections in the development system. If it is a problem in the production system, they want you to test it. You can either test in development or you can test in quality. Both testings are fine with that. If they created something new or they made some corrections, now they want you to test it. Obviously, you are supposed to test in development, because only after your test confirmation, if you say that yes, it is working fine, they will move their changes to quality system. If you are straight away going into quality system, you are trying to test it, nothing will work, because they did changes in development, you are trying to test in quality. So there is a miscommunication. It's not miscommunication, it is our mistake, because you have to understand why somebody is asking you to test. Nobody will tell that I made some changes, you please do go to development system and test. Nobody will tell like this. Everybody will simply tell, please test this if it is working fine. Now it is your responsibility to understand what they are asking you to test, and if you have any query, you have to confidently put your question back. You want me to test it in development or quality? Blindly you cannot do it, because if they are not telling, you have to ask. You will be able to ask only if you know what is the procedure. Only if you know what is the procedure, you can ask. So that confidence you have to develop, right? So these points is what you have to understand. These points is what you have to remember to make yourself comfortable, confident wherever you are. Clear, right? What you need to test. Once you test, once you practice this today, tomorrow we are going to practice the same thing with the automatic payment program screen. So where you are going to understand different functionalities, different new things from automatic payment program, which will be more interesting. Every scenario will add a new functionality. Every scenario will teach you a new function, a new thing in SAP. And you will also understand, okay, I have to experiment in this way, I have to experiment in this way. That thought process is what you have to develop. Okay, practice this for now. So let me stop the session today here because I have some work now. Okay, make sure you practice till here, or at least you understand the procedure. Now from next session onwards, whatever the scenarios that I am going to replicate, that I am going to do it in APP, everything will have the connection. Today's session will help you understanding tomorrow's session, because whatever we did manually, I am going to do it automatically through APP, so that you can practically relate. Okay, this is what we are doing manually, this is what system is doing automatically. Tomorrow if somebody is asking you what is the difference between manual payment, automatic payment, why you should go with automatic payment, why not manual payment, then you will be able to tell the differences. Why you can tell the differences? Because you are practically seeing both the scenarios. For this, no other go, you have to either practice it. If time is not permitting, please make sure you at least remember this sequence. You at least remember this sequence so that you can connect. You have to connect one topic with the other topic to proceed further, to understand things in a logical way. Okay. So tomorrow we will be connecting at the same time. Tomorrow we will spend more time as usual. Okay, let me stop this recording now.